Am I the asshole for failing to take care of my sister's dog while she was in labor? I'm 21F, and my older sister, 25F, and I have always been close, but we tend to clash because she's a perfectionist and gets hostile when things don't go her way. One night, she called to say she was going into labor and asked me to watch her puppy. I agreed, and she gave me detailed instructions, including putting the dog in a safety harness when taking him outside. Later, I took the dog out and brought him back in, but I hadn't fully taken off his harness when he ran toward the living room where my mom was on FaceTime with my sister's boyfriend. I finished taking the harness off, but minutes later, I got angry texts from my sister accusing me of mistreating her dog because he was still in the harness for a few extra minutes. Her boyfriend had seen it on the FaceTime call and told her. She then called, yelling that I was lazy and unreliable, and told me and my mom to leave her house immediately. She even said we wouldn't meet the baby until we earned her trust back. At 2 a.m., we left, and I asked her boyfriend what was going on when he arrived. He just brushed me off, saying, "We're having a kid, you don't get an explanation." I spent the night comforting my mom, who was really upset, thinking she might not see her grandchild. The next day, my sister called to apologize and blamed her reaction on stress and hormones. She invited us over to meet the baby, so we went. The visit was fine, but afterward, she asked why I seemed quiet. I calmly told her how hurt I was after being kicked out, insulted, and threatened. I explained that the situation left a lasting negative memory for everyone. Her boyfriend missed moments at the hospital. My mom was devastated, and now her in-laws probably think we can't handle helping her. I just wanted her to acknowledge my feelings. Instead, she got defensive again, saying she stood by everything she said and that I was disgusting for trying to put a dark cloud over her baby's birth. She then asked me to leave, which I did. We haven't spoken since, and while I understand she's under a lot of stress, I'm left wondering if I'm wrong for wanting my feelings to be acknowledged. Her boyfriend had seen it on the FaceTime call and told her. Why would somebody bother a woman who is giving birth with such trivia? I suspect the boyfriend is trying to isolate her from her family. Not the asshole. Don't let her institute a norm where she gets to use you as a punching bag and you just pretend it's okay because reasons. It's absolutely not okay. I don't buy that having a kid is a free ticket to be an asshole without consequences. If momentary stress causes an unfortunate outburst, there is a remedy for that. A sincere apology and assurance that it won't happen again. If you don't get that, I keep my distance if I were you. It's not difficult to predict what you are going to be subjected to if she is allowed to get away with this behavior. Your sister does not get to blame hormones on this, she's just acting like a mean and controlling person. She can find someone else to dog sit and potentially babysit if she cannot apologize. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Don't accept that amount of disrespect. That's not hormones, that's being an asshole. Never do anything for them again, period. So, you all should be prepared for your sister and her boyfriend to pull this card as often as they like. Threatening people with not seeing the baby is pretty much a staple for people like this. Anyone who uses their child as a weapon isn't mature enough to be a parent. Not the asshole, but your sister and her boyfriend are. Update me. Am I the asshole for not defending my friend when my fiance was mean to her? I, 26 male, have been engaged to my fiance Zyra, 26 female, for 6 months now. We were friends in high school and only started dating when we were around 22. We were close in high school. We were in the same friend group, but drifted apart and reconnected in uni, so it's safe to say I do know her really well. She's a kind person most of the time. However, she knows how to cut deep when the situation warrants it. I've witnessed it at times and she can make people cry. So one of my friend groups mostly consists of gamers. I don't hang out with them in person that much because I'm not very social and prefer spending time with my fiance. Even during calls I'm mostly muted or don't talk, but I do enjoy their company. I guess I'm just shy. My friends know I have a fiance and they invited her out with us last night. There are girls in our friend group, like 2 of them, and this other girl in our group who can be a bit of a pick-me girl. I'll call her Emma. She gets along well with the rest of us, but sometimes she can be a bit annoying. So last night we all went out to dinner and the other 2 girls and my girl were getting along really well. They really hit it off until Emma joined us later in the evening. She started of making passive-aggressive backhanded comments to Zyra, who initially just rolled her eyes and laughed, but I told Emma to stop because I didn't want the night to end with someone crying. She took this as a joke but stopped messing with Zyra for a while and then she started up again. I think she was trying to make my fiance insecure or jealous or something, but Emma kept saying how close we are because we game. Zyra knows I'm not close with her because every time I play with them she is either in my lap or right next to me watching me play. Emma told Zyra not to worry about her because she wasn't going to take me away from her. Zyra smiled at her and I knew the night was over. She looked Emma up and down and said, "You take him from me?" Good luck. Emma tried defending herself and brushing it off as a joke, but Zaira just kind of let loose, I guess. She called Emma a pathetic excuse of a woman and asked if she needs male validation that desperately, or if she's actually deluded enough to think she, Emma, is more important than her, Zaira, in my life, among other things. I'm not going to lie, I do kind of think it's hot when she gets like this, so I just sat by and watched, and Emma started crying and we left after she said thank you to the rest of my friends. The girls in my group have been messaging me and saying I should have stopped Zaira and maybe not have let her be so rude, and Emma has gone radio silent. My other friends think Zaira is justified and I do too, but did she take it too far and should I have stopped her? Am I the asshole? Hi, so I have no idea how to update, so I'm just going to write it here and hopefully people will read it. I want to thank everyone who told me I wasn't in a hole and neither was Zaira. I knew we weren't wrong, I just wanted an unbiased opinion. A lot people seem to think that Zaira is a horrible woman who kicks puppies or something. I said that she can make people cry and everyone just assumed she just regularly goes out and makes people cry. She's made like 3 people cry, 4 if you count Emma, but I'm 100% certain those were crocodile tears. Also, my other friends in the group have decided they want some space from Emma and the other girls. A lot of people said Zaira is trying to isolate me when it's in fact the opposite. If it wasn't for her I wouldn't even have these friends because I frankly have no interest in making a lot of friends. I also said that I think that Zaira is hot when she gets assertive and stands up for herself, and so many people were acting like I said something so gross and disgusting, which was weird. Like, I'm sorry, I think my fiancé is hot. Do you want me to hate her or something? On to the update. We spent the morning reading the comments, it's her day off, and Zaira thinks you're all kind and funny. I've decided I'm just going to put some distance between myself and the girls. I have other friends, so I'll be fine. Plus we're getting married in November, so I have better things to worry about and look forward to. I actually cannot wait, these 2 months are taking forever. Smiling face with tear. Not the asshole. Emma said things that were inappropriate. She was told to stop but she didn't. There was nothing funny about what she said. The girls in my group have been messaging me and saying I should have stopped Zaira. Who tried to stop Emma? Info. Do you have other examples of her mean streak, making people cry? The example you list doesn't really count as Emma kind of brought it on herself. However, generally speaking, any person with a mean streak that can make other people cry is a walking, talking red flag that nobody should be seriously dating. The classic example is, how does she treat waitresses when you eat out? If she's ever even been slightly rude to them, game over. But it's not limited to waitresses. Anybody who is the target of her bullying could indicate a red flag. It's just that if you discover someone is mean like this, probably the first indication will be an interaction with some kind of service worker like a waitress. Not the asshole. And neither is your GF. Women do not need to be nice to people who are downright rude and disrespectful to them. Being accurate and calling out someone else's behavior is not an overreaction or mean. I have a cutting wit, and am known for popping off in a similar fashion. It's one of my favorite things about myself. Not the asshole. She did seem to overreact a little, and was very unsubtle, which makes me kind of feel this may be fake. I've never seen anyone talk like that in real life. That being said, if this is real, no. Emma started it, and anyway, it's not your job to police Zaira's language or control her way of defending herself. Emma shouldn't dish out if she can't take it, and sounds like a repulsive person in general. Zaira was right to defend herself, and you are correct for not getting involved. You two sound like you have a good relationship, but less can be said about your friends. Good luck. Not the asshole. You had requested Emma stop the remarks and behavior several times, right? You even warned her the night would end with someone crying if she kept going. She kept going anyway. I think your girlfriend might have been a bit harsh going fully on the offensive, so you could have tried reining her in a little bit, but otherwise I don't think you in particular are an asshole here. Does Emma have suspected feelings for you in particular, or would she have acted the same way towards the partner of one of the other guys in the group? Not the asshole. Emma had it coming. What does she expect is going to happen? She had been making backhanded comments all night and then felt the need to tell Zaira that in her mind if she wanted to steal you away she could. Am I the asshole for refusing to help out with my dad's new wife's kids like I help with my siblings? My dad got married 4 months ago and his new wife has 3 kids, 7, 5 and 4. Dad has me, 16 male, and my siblings, 13 female, 11 female, 9 male. Our mom died 5 years ago. Not sure about the other kids' dads? They don't have anything to do with their dads. My relationship with my dad has been strained for years. I have a plan I put into place last year to get me out as soon as I'm 18. I don't want a relationship with my dad. I don't want to fix things or to make the most of things for now. I just want to keep my eye on the prize. But I help my siblings when I need to. Sometimes it's walking them to school, don't have a car. Sometimes it's buying them a little something. Sometimes it's helping with homework. Or getting them some food. Or picking them up from some place. It's not all the time. Though I do buy them little snacks or whatever if they want to walk home with me instead of taking the bus. Just for some sibling time and to spoil them a little since Dad was never into that. My dad's wife has a problem that I still do this stuff for my siblings but I don't do a thing for her kids. I don't even really talk to them unless they talk to me first. She has asked me to pick them up or feed them lunch once or twice and I say no. Since going back to school I was asked to help all the kids with homework and not just my siblings even though they do their homework in different rooms, my siblings in my room, the new wife's kids in the kitchen. But the most controversial was when I walked my siblings home from school and bought them ice cream on the way. I didn't get anything for the other kids. And I didn't try to take the others with me. Just my siblings. So Dad and his wife sat me down a few days ago and told me I should treat all the kids the same and should be willing to help them all. I said no. I said I won't. She argued that this would be a good way to form a stronger family connection. I told her there is no family connection and there will never be. She and her kids are not my family just like he isn't, Dad. I told her the only family I have in their house is my siblings and they won't change my mind. She wanted to know if I go to therapy with them and give it a chance and I said no. Dad was already doing other stuff by that point. She told me we could make it work and her kids would love to have me as a big brother. And by doing some stuff every now and again could be nice. I said no. She didn't like that and told me I'm old enough to know and do better. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole, you're already going above and beyond for your biological siblings. You don't owe that to anyone, it's your choice. Stepmom wanting a better bond might be genuine or not, hard to judge from just a few paragraphs, but initially sounds a lot like her main interest is you helping out. You are 16. What your parents, birth and step-parents have done so far, has a name. It is called parentification. They are loading all the responsibilities of having the children onto a child you without the resources or experience to actually, healthily deal with it. You are a child that deserves their own childhood. Do you have another trusted adult? An aunt? An uncle? Grandparents? A teacher at school? Please talk to someone that you don't want to continue sacrificing your life for the kids they wanted to have. It is their responsibility to raise the children they have created. And don't believe Payope who tell you are selfish. They're being very selfish. Not the asshole. You're old enough to know better. And your sperm donor's new wife is old enough to know better than trying to force something that will never happen. Edit not the asshole. You are filling in for your mother. Her kids have a mother. She needs to parent her own kids. Not the asshole, and their audacity is wild. You are already helping with your 3 siblings and they want you to add 3 more? Nope. That's when you tell her she's old enough to know to not force relationships on someone who doesn't want it. Am I the asshole I refused to call to ask for permission from father-in-law after already getting the okay from my mill? I, 24M, and my wife, 23F, wanted to have her sister, 10F, over for a sleepover since she's been asking to stay over for a while now. A bit of background is that may be important. Father-in-law is a very conservative Christian and her family lives in a small town about an hour away from where we live. We asked mother-in-law a couple of weeks ago if she could stay over, and there was no issue. My wife went alone to pick up her sister, but first she wanted to do some other things in the town. On her way there, my wife gets a message from her mom asking if we asked her dad because he's upset we didn't ask him directly. My wife then calls me asking what to do and we come to the conclusion that we shouldn't pick up her sister. My logic was that clearly he was not okay with it, otherwise he would raise no objections when his wife told him. It kinda felt like he wanted us to call him so either he could tell us no, or so he would feel in charge. We have played that dance before and didn't want to do it again. We felt bad because at the end of the day the person who was really hurt was the sister, but we wanted to stand our ground. So we call mother-in-law in the evening and she says she is coming into town the next day, Sunday, and might be able to get permission from her husband to take the sister. Her husband was thinking about it. We still haven't called father-in-law and don't plan on it. It was inconvenient for us since we cleared our Saturday for the sleepover assuming we could get chores done on Sunday. So at 10 in the morning, 2 hours before they would arrive, mother-in-law texted me that the sister was coming. It felt last minute to me and almost like we couldn't say no without being the bad guys. So anyway, sister gets dropped off and we spend the day with her. I asked mother-in-law about the problems yesterday and she basically said that her husband didn't ask to watch any movies. He's talking about showing her kids movies like Disney or whatever, with the sister. So obviously I asked why he didn't text us or something and I didn't get an answer. Then I asked how long in advance did she tell her husband that we were taking the sister and she said a few days in advance, so I asked her why the problem only came as my wife was driving to pick up her sister. Again no real answer. Am I the asshole? I feel like the path of least resistance would have been having my wife or me calling, but we didn't want to cave in to the weird demand. I do feel like I was petty by not calling, but I wanted to stand my ground. Not the asshole. Your father-in-law loves drama and wanted to be begged. Sounds like you need to keep gray rocking him so he knows he won't get any fun reactions from you. And also talk to your wife about her childhood. This behavior has probably been going on a long time and affected her at a young age. You're not the asshole for wanting to avoid a power play. It seems like you were just trying to respect everyone's boundaries and keep things straightforward. Not the asshole. Why are mother-in-law and father-in-law not on the same page? It is up to both parents to agree before making a commitment to someone else. It's not your fault they don't communicate. Not the asshole. Father-in-law is a controlling asshole, and it's fine not to figure out how to sidestep playing into his games. Not the asshole. Your father-in-law is creating drama. You're not in the wrong for standing your ground. Not the asshole. It sounds like father-in-law pictures himself as the head of the household, and all decisions are to be finalized by him. Sounds like his ego was injured when you and your wife did not ask his permission after mother-in-law gave hers.